Hello, everybody. That was a bit challenging, honestly. Um, this is our first live on this channel, on this couple's channel, and we are obviously not home. Currently in Atlantic City. It's our hotel room. It is very messy, so I'm gonna just keep this laptop raised. Michael's on his way. We were currently at lunch, so that is why we had to push the time back. We were both at lunch, and then I left early to set us up here to do this live. But he should be here shortly. I do hope that you guys have had a great Valentine's Day weekend, or you're having a great Valentine's Day weekend. We are in Atlantic City at Harrah's Resort right now. Currently speaking, we'll be here until tomorrow, Valentine's Day, Monday. Um, and yeah, we're chilling. And we just decided to do this live because it's been very difficult for us to sit down and record videos these days. Michael has been working really hard, very busy, and I've also been busy. And that is why you guys mainly see me or videos of just me on our channel. But yeah, it's been difficult for us to sit down and record together. Hence why we decided to do this live so that we can both be on. And as soon as he comes, we'll definitely start. I'm texting him now and make sure that he is close by, and he said that he is. So, yeah, that's kind of the plan for today's live, to talk about a few different buckets of our channel slash our life, our apartment, which a lot of you guys followed us from our apartment hunting vlogs, and then like our apartment tour and those kind of moving vlogs. So I did want us to talk about the apartment in this video. Maybe answer some questions about our wedding, which we do have some videos on our channel of our wedding, but we did want to answer any questions about our wedding, our newlywed life. There's been a few questions that our friends and those online have asked us, and we also want to talk about our honeymoon because we know that a lot of you joined us from our honeymoon vlogs. And thank you all so much for subscribing. If you are watching this, you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. But we are so grateful. We hit 700 this week, and it feels really incredible to just have 700 of you all follow us, follow our journey, watch our videos. It truly means the world. Michael is currently getting on the elevator here, so like I said, he'll be joining in just a few minutes. But if you do have a question, feel free to write it in the chat for us. I did prepare some questions for us to discuss, just that I know might be interesting for you all to hear, and then also questions that we've gotten from our friends and our family and subscribers and comments on the videos that I just mentioned. So, but if you do have your own question that you want us to answer, feel free to write those down below. And I think that's it. Well, I thought that was him. Oh, there it is. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Yeah, strange. We are on live.
Is there anybody on?
Mhm.
Cool.
So, as I was saying, we waiting on Michael. Here he is.
Here I am.
Just came back from lunch. So, that is why we started late, and that is why we had to come in separately. I left, so he can pay and do all that stuff. But yeah, just wanted this to be an opportunity for us to talk about different topics that we've heard you all ask about, and So that's what I prepared. But again, feel free to write anything that you have for us in the chat. Let's say, okay. Okay, babe.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to hurry up and get up here, and then this lady like stopped. It's weird. This lady stopped and asked for help, and she was like, "Please don't get me kicked out or something." It was just weird.
Wait, kick that for what?
I guess usually, like you know how like you go into a place and you're asking for money, and it's like,
Oh, for she wanted $1 or something
yeah. It was just
in the casino.
it was near where I was leaving to come eat, but it's neither here nor there.
Okay, because we're all in the hotel now.
Yeah,
There's a casino on the first floor, but I'm like, someone came and asked, but they're staying here.
they were just standing. You know, she's not staying here. You can tell. I
Or
can
she's just inside.
Yeah, she's like she needs help with
So
something. Whatever.
you gave her some.
Well, I tried, but anyway.
That's nice.
So I guess this live is about asking certain questions that people ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
and just answering any questions that people decide to ask us if they put something in the chat. Okay, so the first question I'll ask is, how did we find our apartment?
How do we find our apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say that what we did was look online for like different areas that were near where your mom lived.
Mm-hmm.
When we started looking, we both were like looking at places that just was like somewhat near, just that you can be close to. Trenel could be close to her parents.
Mm-hmm.
We also looked in Brooklyn. We looked in I don't even think we looked in the Bronx, but mainly Brooklyn, but it was just very expensive there. So we were just trying to find an apartment that was affordable at that time, somewhere that was near. And so you were the actual one, you actually found the one that we're at now.
Yes.
But the actual process was both of us going online, and we went, I think, to 7 or 8 different places. And we finally found the one that we wanted to be in.
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Just so you all know, we did both live in New York City, and we looked in New York City and New Jersey. New Jersey just happened to be more affordable for us, and not even just for us, but like in terms of the amenities that they had to offer for the same price, or for the price compared to the same or similar amenities in New York City.
Yeah.
Mainly Brooklyn is where we were looking into, but yeah, we didn't find a good deal or good deals in Brooklyn and New York City. So that's why we ended up looking in New Jersey primarily.
Yeah.
We did want to be close to my parents. And so, excuse me. Ooh. And so that was also important to us. Online, we searched Zillow, I think was one of the websites. We also looked on Instagram. And I think when you start looking at apartments on Google.
Oh yeah, Instagram is another one.
Yeah, the algorithm shows you some.
It'll start showing you a lot of different ads and things like that.
Yes.
None of which we actually, maybe we saw one or two, but that's how like you would get ideas of
different places
different
that
places
you might be interested in. And you can also search hashtags like luxury apartments New Jersey or luxury apartments New York City, or be specific, luxury apartments Hoboken, if you want to be more specific on the city. And YouTube. That's another way how we found apartments. A lot of YouTubers post vlogs of apartment hunting like we did on our channel. And not all of them necessarily put the apartment name or city, but most put at least the state or around the area. And so from that, if you look up videos, again, luxury apartment hunting or apartment tours, and you start investigating based on the people's videos, you might find some good apartments, because that's how we found our current apartment. I had to do a little investigative stuff because a YouTuber didn't actually say what the apartment name was, but they were like logos or just signs that I noticed in the video that led me to here. And for safety reasons, I know I got a comment. We got a comment recently about someone asking if we could share the names of our complex or the ones that we looked. And if we live there, then no, for safety reasons, we won't share that. But all the other ones, that's fine for us to share.
Yeah.
So that's the gist.
I was just trying to see if you had posted it. Oh yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we changed the time around for this live, and we were going to post it for later on this week. But then we were just like, might as well have it.
Why
now.
not just have it? Why not just
So,
have it?
just why not
Because
have
we
it?
were running late, but I think 3 p.m. is a good start.
Yes. So the second question related to our apartment is, how do we like living in New Jersey coming from New York?
How do I love it coming from New York. If we're talking about just the apartment, I like where I was coming from was in Brooklyn. So my apartment, I was roommating with one of my family members, and so for me, when we first moved, it was just me in the apartment, and then after we got married, Trenel came, and so like the setup of the apartment is a lot more spacious. It's a lot more modern, and then like the amenities is just kind of like a no-brainer. You know, I'm able to go to the gym because before I would have to travel like 20 minutes to go to the gym, then I switched gyms, so then it was like 30 minutes, and then you have to factor in like, do I really want to travel 35 minutes just to get to the gym? And then some days it's cold, some days it's raining or snowing, whatever. So it's just like, dang, I can't even go today. So when you think about that, like I can just walk down the hall and go to the gym. Yeah, I love the fact that we're able to wash clothes in our apartment. We don't have to go anywhere.
Gotta wash and dry
travel.
in unit.
Yeah, you know, I love that. You know.
And that's all perks of having a luxury apartment specifically. You can have a regular apartment in New York or New Jersey and not necessarily have those amenities.
Yeah.
But it was really important for us to have that and at a good or a decent price point. And so we looked at luxury apartments specifically.
Yeah.
But
and maybe some apartments would have it, but
not all of those things though.
Not all of them, but I really like the fact that, you know, the washer and dryer in unit was included.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of, there's also a park outside.
Yes, very neat. Yep.
And I love going on walks. It allows me to either talk to people or just be alone and just think. Then if you walk a lot further, there is like another place where you can some people work out. It's like a workout station. You can do pull-ups, push-ups, things like that. Like, it's just nice to have. And it's a nice, like, water. Would you call it a waterfront? I don't know if it's a waterfront.
No, it's like a canal, maybe.
Is it a canal?
I don't know. Okay.
There's over the bridge.
Lake.
I don't know if it's a lake.
Beach?
It's not a beach.
No, but the beach is at the back. The ocean's at the back.
The ocean. There's really a nice view of water.
Yes, there's water outside. We gotta show it.
We gotta include that
at some point. Do a vlog
but
of it.
I just love nature. So anything that has to do with water, grass, trees, you know, just being able to walk and see that and explore outside is a lot different, because when you're in Brooklyn, as soon as you get outside, it's buildings. There's no type of park unless you go to an actual designated area where it's a park. But you don't just walk outside and there's park and water and trees and just a nice, that type of area. So that's another thing that I love about our apartment.
And what about New Jersey overall, or like where our city is in general?
Overall, see, and that's another thing too, because overall, where we live, we have to at least drive 25 to 35 minutes to get to an activity. To get to food, anything that we want to do. Whereas Brooklyn, you can just, even though it may be 20 or 35 minutes away, you can just hop on the train and you're there. Or besides that, you can just go outside and walk there's a lot of different food spots. But the whole point is there's a lot more to do in Brooklyn than there is in Jersey. So at least in Bayonne, where we live.
Bayonne, New Jersey City, Hoboken, that area.
Yeah, like the Jersey City, Hoboken, that whole. I think that whole part of Jersey is just it's not much to do than Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens area. So if you compare the two, it's just But I'm not ungrateful. It's just you can notice that there is a difference when it comes to food spots, when it comes to just any like having fun or having a lot of things to do. So
yeah, that pretty much sums up how I feel. That's the biggest con, the lack of things to do compared to New York City. There's just significantly less. And of the things that there is, they're not like open late at night. They're not that good. Like we tried a few restaurants, just a few, and most of them are good, but I don't think they compare to like the restaurants you might find in New York City, which one might say you should like New York City can't be comparable to anything. Might be true, but just for our sake and sharing with you guys in case you do live in New York and are considering to move in New Jersey, you will get a little bit more nature, a little slower pace, but you won't be far away from the city because we live maybe 15, 20 minutes from New York City driving, and there's a PATH train that can take you into Manhattan specifically that takes maybe half an hour. I don't know. We haven't gone on it yet.
I think it's about that, like
half an
30
hour
to 40 something minutes.
Oh, you have gone on it. Yeah.
I've gone on it. I think it was about 30 minutes.
Yeah. So definitely not far away from New York City if you're worried about like working or how you're gonna get into the city if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But overall we do like our apartment and we make it work. We find things to do. Anything else about living in New Jersey?
I think that's about it. I think like if people can get used to well, I guess people will become it depends on if you're coming from New York. If you're coming from New York and you're considering moving to New Jersey, like I said, the Jersey City area, Hoboken area, it'll be an adjustment, but it depends on what you want to give up for, just depends on what you want to give up.
Yeah, because it's all a trade-off, honestly. For affordability and comfort, you might choose New Jersey.
Yeah.
But for like entertainment, nightlife, fun, you might choose New York. And like family too, because a lot of us have family in New York. So we do. Anyway. Okay, that's cool. The second question, which I probably have more to speak to it, but is how did we plan our wedding / how do we plan our wedding in New York?
Well, it was very stressful because I had to do all the work.
He's joking, guys.
And it was very stressful because, I have a lot on my plate. So, but really, the whole wedding planning was a very interesting, I guess, experience overall because when you talk about trying to, first of all, Trenel wanted to be the one to like, okay, plan and designate everything. But then we were like, you know what? It'll probably be best to get a partial planner, one who can kind of like ease the load. Because for me, it was that I was more just busy and just kind of, I would say just unavailable.
Yeah.
In some respects, unavailable mostly due to work.
Yeah.
But also maybe just unavailable due to like just other circumstances. And so we were just like, you know what, let's try to get a planner. And so the experience was a lot. I know for Trenel because even with we did elect to go with the partial planner. I know Trenel still felt like she was doing most of the work,
Yeah.
just based off of how the partial planner that we chose, of how her contract was designated, or formed, I should say. So um, I believe, and everybody say, the wedding was beautiful and everything, but as far as like planning it, I don't think you can really understand unless like somebody can kind of like tell you about like, okay,
Yeah.
this is what you should expect. And I mean like somebody that you might know, because
Personally.
even when you talk to like a planner, like you're just hearing different stories, like, and maybe you're just thinking, oh, this is what they're supposed to say. But when you have somebody personally that have planned, or that personally that like, okay, this is how it went, this is how it goes, maybe you'll be, I guess, more prepared. But yeah, it was a lot. What about you?
No, same. I mean, obviously we feel similar about all these questions, but just my perspective, yeah, it was highly stressful. Just some context. We got married last year, May 31st, 2021. The fateful day. It was a Monday last year. And we got engaged April 18th, 2020. So about 13 months, give or take, of planning, or 12 months to be exact, because I did start planning like a month after we got engaged. And my intention when we started planning was to hire a planner. I consider myself a planner and I wanted to plan my own wedding, but I also did not want to be stressed. And that's often what happens when I plan events. Like, I'm just completely stressed. And I knew I did not want that for my wedding. So we did look at planners. We did interview a few people, actually, and the general consensus was that like they all felt either, well, let me just say, a few of them seemed inexperienced slash they didn't sell themselves enough for us to feel like they were credible or worth our dollar. And then others of them said that they felt like I didn't necessarily need a full service planner. And one of them suggested partial planning, which, if you guys don't know, partial planning, there's two different kinds apparently. One is when you fully plan a wedding, a fully assisted bride plan a wedding from 6 to 8 months to the wedding day. So like halfway through the wedding planning process. And then another type is when you assist planning and you do certain things for the entire time you're contracted to work with a couple. And so that's like the option that we went with. The rationale was that I felt like 6 to 8 months to the wedding day, there wasn't going to be that much stuff that needed to be done still. It's not true. There was a lot left to do by then. I just didn't know that. And yeah, we went with the other option. Our planner was cool, I would say, but I definitely felt like I did a lot of the work. So much so that I would argue that, not even argue, like I planned my own wedding, which is not necessarily to say that she didn't do her job, because again, with her style, it was more like a secondary assistant role, but I didn't feel assisted either. And our wedding day still didn't go as planned. And we'll do another video about the things that went bad about on our wedding day, maybe later on. But yeah, I was still very stressed leading up to the wedding day, slightly during the reception on the wedding when I realized things were not coordinated properly. And yeah, I have a video on this channel of like the 10 or 7 resources that I recommend to brides planning their wedding. I'll link it down below once we publish this live, but check that out because those are the same resources that I used. There's a bridal wedding planning book that I recommend from Amazon, like a regular notebook to jot down notes, and some other resources. Facebook bridal groups, specifically Black bridal groups, is the ones that I was a part of just because our weddings are different. And yeah, it was a lot of work, but you got to be organized. Being a PhD student helped me do my research on different vendors and keep track. Oh, and Instagram is another way that we found a lot of our vendors. If you search on Instagram, you'll find a lot of pages. New York City is a hub, if you will, of vendors, wedding vendors, specifically even Black wedding vendors. There's a lot of them in New York City who are quite famous, who do good work. And so we didn't have a problem like searching for a few people and interviewing them and then choosing who we wanted in the process. So yeah, it was stressful, but in the end, I'm grateful that I got married to you. So grateful. So that's it. And getting married in New York City, I don't know what to compare it to because we don't know what it's like to get married elsewhere, but I guess we can say it's more expensive than maybe
I don't
people
really
who get
know.
married. Yeah, we don't
I mean,
really
that
know, but
could be true, but
that's our guess
yeah.
that it possibly was more expensive than if you got married elsewhere, just because it's a popular destination and yeah, the more popular vendors. I don't know who might have more competitive pricing, but other than that, it was cool. Okay, so now I want to ask about our wedding, and then the last question will be about our honeymoon. I don't want to make this live too long because it is Valentine's Day weekend now that we're recording this. But what would you say is the hardest part about being married? The hardest, or most
The
difficult,
hardest part about being married.
if there is such a part.
I don't know if there's anything hard or if there's a hard part about it. I think if you were to say that something would be hard, it's just about adjusting to living with the person. And yeah, just I think it's just living with the person, getting used to being in their space all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of some things. Like, for example, if Trenel is used to leaving the living room a certain way, and I'm used to leaving the living room my certain way, it's like, okay, she's doing something her way and I'm doing something my way. And so it really should just be like some type of communication. And so, I mean, we talk about everything, we bring everything up kind of right there and then, or within the same day anyway. So, and also we both have different viewpoints on a lot of things. Not that we are like disagreeing, but we see maybe the same answer in different angles, or we may agree to disagree on certain topics. But I don't see that as hard or difficult or, oh wow, this person doesn't see my side of things. It's just that we have two different viewpoints on a certain matter. And that could just be anything. But if it was real serious, if it's like a serious matter, then obviously, you would want to make sure that your partner has like an agreement with you on that. But I wouldn't say that anything has been too hard. I think getting married is it's a life journey.
Yes, absolutely.
So, the hard parts, it will come and go. I know Trenel gets stressed out a lot about school.
Yes.
And she has different moods. And so,
I
I
do.
mean, if that's hard, maybe for me, it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
that's something that I have to get used to because
Yeah,
when I'm living by myself, I'm not used to everybody. I'm not used to anyone, being in the home, like having any type of moods because I'm by myself. I don't have to worry about anything. If I drop some piece of clothes on the floor and maybe I forgot, maybe I intentionally left it there and I come back later on and I see it's still on the floor, it's still on the ground. But then if now it's just like you left that there, and so it's not that I leave stuff on the floor all the time, but just as an example, like living with someone, it's like you always see it's interesting because you always see their faults, but I don't actually call out any of them because it's like if it becomes a habit or too repetitive, then I might mention something, but you start to notice more about like that person, like, okay, this is how this person moves, and if it's a fault, then maybe you can mention it. But if it's nothing that like is so drastic to the point where it's just like, man, this is going to be detrimental to our marriage, then I mean, I guess at that point you can say something. But for me, it's a lot about observing, a lot about it's a journey. I don't think that it's something where you're just like, man, if this doesn't work out in 2 years, there's an option for divorce. Or man, if it's like, oh, if that, it's like all of these things should have been thought about before you got married. All of the hard stuff. Not that life won't be hard, because
and you can't.
Life happens. Yeah. Like I look at hard as life, not like, oh dang, my spouse is hard. You know what I mean? So now my spouse might be hard at some point because Trenel can be. I think for the most part, school is really stressful.
Yeah.
And so
my feelings about school.
Yeah. And life sometimes just gets in the way. I know even last week, I was just feeling a way about work and business and other responsibilities, and sometimes you just kind of have to get back in tune with, I don't know, maybe sometimes you just need peace and rest and kind of like refocus. So marriage right now, I mean, we haven't even made a year yet, so I don't know if I would say there's been parts where it's been like really hard, but there's been points where things have been noticed. I've gotten to learn Trenel a lot more. We've gotten to understand each other a lot more. And I think the hard points, you can minimize that by immediately bringing things up right away instead of prolonging them, waiting until the end of the week and then bringing something up that happened last week. And then it just begins to drag out. We talk about things immediately. And then even if it's something that I feel is like really important, I don't think I call you out to the point where it's just like, you need to be doing this and this and the third. It's just about communication. And that's all I would say on that.
Well, good answer. I like how you dropped gems on how to work on those difficult parts too. I don't have, like Michael, I don't have a specific hard moment per se, but I will say for me, the hardest part of being married so far is being a wife. That's so weird, or maybe that's too broad, but doing wifely duties day to day, balancing wifely duties, and being a student, a full-time student, or for those of you who work, being and I do have part-time jobs as well, but being a student, as well as a mom, as well as a daughter, as well as a worker, an employee, balancing all of those things is difficult sometimes, especially working from home. We have a very unique experience being married because both of us work from home, and we've been working from home since we got married. So I know a lot of couples have broke up during the pandemic because they were so used to being apart, and then during the pandemic they've been forced to be together all the time, work from home. And a lot of things were revealed. But for us, especially since we're still new, we've only known being home and working and being home all the time. Sometimes we don't even leave the house besides going to the grocery store some weeks, depending on the week/day. But so some might say that's nice. I think it's nice. Others might think no. We don't know how our lives would change once we have to return to office, if and when that ever presents itself. I know I'm feeling something too.
I just felt like I had to let out a yawn or something.
Listen, we've been tired, guys, on this vacation, but that just means we're having a good time, and I hope you guys are too. But yeah, I just feel like balancing working from home and being a wife has been very tough. Balancing like when to clean, when to stop and cook, when to actually work, scheduling your time more efficiently has been like my problem since I can remember. But now, on top of that, considering taking care of the home has been difficult. Like I would clean and cook all day. If I really if I could, I would, and sometimes I do. But like work needs to get done. Yeah. So navigating that, I think, has been the hardest part for me. But other than that, yeah, we don't really have hard moments per se. And if we do, then we definitely talk about it right then and there, work on it right then and there. And I'm grateful for that process because I think that's great conflict resolution from the both of us. And we kind of had that habit like since we started dating. So yeah. So the last question, just because we don't want this live to be too long, is about our honeymoon. So a lot of you guys started watching us from our honeymoon vlogs. We're so happy to hear that you guys were enjoying it. But for our honeymoon, the question is, how did we find that resort, and how do we recommend it, and like how did we like our experience there? Oh, and just so you guys know, if you didn't watch those vlogs, we stayed at the Excellence El Carmen Resort in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic in August 2021. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Some fun. Yeah. I was trying to think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So what was the question again? Like, how do we find it?
How do we find it? Do we recommend it? And how is our overall experience?
How do we find it? Oh, Trenel was the one who found it.
I found it on YouTube.
You found it on
watching
YouTube.
Vlogs.
Yep. And do we recommend it? I loved it actually. Excellent El Carmen, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The just the overall experience and the people there were very friendly, very warm.
Very, very nice.
The all-inclusive stuff. I came back home and gained like 5 pounds. Like we were eating, like you don't have any you don't have to hold back.
Yeah, so no restrictions.
There is no restrictions.
Drinking, doing whatever.
And the overall experience is very, very nice. I would highly recommend it just because of the scenery, like I said, the food, and the overall experience. The people there, very friendly and warm, in my opinion. And we went there while it was warm and hot on some days. So
but not that bad, right? It wasn't that bad. Someone asked me that, if they recommend going there in August or July, and I think it was good temperature. It wasn't scorching.
The temperature, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't scorching hot. It was just like, and it wasn't warm. I just felt like there was a couple days, not the entire stay. I think there's like a couple days where it's like, wow, it's hot outside today, but not like where it's like, okay, it's unbearable. But I'm saying I like it. I think I like the hot. I think that day was not many clouds in the sky, so I think we were went to the water.
The beach.
Been to the beach. I was trying to find a word. Went to the beach, and that was really nice. So there's also a gym there. There was a personal trainer that kind of like talked to me about certain things.
And that was a nice touch.
I really liked that. I really enjoyed that. The gym there had everything that you need. I wish that gym was in our gym because, man, it's just you need more, and sometimes you have to like manipulate the machines just to get what you need. So overall, I would recommend it. I don't think that there's anything that I would say that's just like, oh man,
be careful.
This is like a bad experience, or I don't. Well, the food.
Yeah, I mean,
when they delivered the food, it wasn't bad.
The last day?
No, it was the morning.
Oh, the champagne breakfast.
The champagne breakfast. Okay. But it wasn't just okay. It was just like it was almost like what you would expect. But there was one thing there that was just, I think it was cold that day. basically
No, it
when
wasn't cold.
I don't know if it was cold, but when it was, I can't remember what
We had a
dish it
smoked
was.
Benedict salmon,
Oh yeah,
smoked
yeah.
salmon Benedict, eggs Benedict on a egg McMuffin.
Yeah, it was a good
English
experience.
muffin.
Egg McMuffin. Egg
English
McMuffin.
muffin, not the McDonald's.
But anyway, overall, it was a great experience. Y'all, if y'all decide to go and
Yeah, you're
try
gonna have a great
it, y'all gonna
time.
have a great time.
Yeah,
So
I've watched other travel channels talk about like the best resort brands, and they voted Excellence as their top. So, yeah, highly recommend any of the Excellence resorts. We've only been to that one, El Carmen and Punta Cana, and it was something about being on live.
it's not even about being on live. It's just that this whole weekend.
This whole weekend,
It's like,
and we haven't really done much.
we haven't done much, but it's just nice to like
get some rest.
get
We've
some
been
rest.
sleeping in, guys. As you can see, we look a little well rested, even though Michael's yawning. We have been getting
Well,
our
I'm definitely
sleep in.
well rested, yeah.
But yeah, highly recommend Excellence Resort. Everyone there was phenomenal. The food is different, not bad.
They have a good variety of food,
not
though.
good. It's good variety, but I mean, like on the menu, they'll have dishes that you might be familiar with, like say pad thai.
Oh, different.
But
yeah,
they won't
there's
taste
different food.
like
There's probably food that you haven't tried before.
yeah, they won't taste like the pad thai that you would get here.
Right. Exactly.
Or whatever the dish is, lasagna. You know, it just will taste. I don't even say they're Dominican inspired, but maybe it's just different. But it tastes good, and we had a great experience. Highly recommend it for a honeymoon, any trip. Honestly, the price it wasn't bad either. Pretty affordable for all inclusive, in our opinion. We made it work, and it was perfect for our honeymoon. If you guys do get a chance to go, you should. Another question we got about the honeymoon was, how do we book excursions? Our first day, there was like a guy downstairs in the lobby of the hotel who was like, hey, book your excursions with me. And we made sure that was a guy that's supposed to be selling excursions, and he was.
Oh, the excursions was
yeah,
fun.
and
I forgot about that.
we just booked it directly with him, and he had like a list of different excursions to choose from. So we didn't actually do it in advance. So if you go and you haven't planned out all your excursions, that's okay. There's going to be someone at the resort who will like explain all the excursions to you, and you just pay for it and choose a time and pay for it, and then you can go. But yeah, that's basically it.
That's basically it.
Yeah, we hope that you guys enjoyed this live. Let us know if you want us to do more videos like this. Like I mentioned before Michael got here, it's a lot easier for us to do live videos together, just because we don't have to like schedule time in our home and record and then us edit afterwards. We can just do it here and post it. So let us know if you want us to do more lives and ask us any questions under this video, or DM us on Instagram, or comment down on any one of our other videos, any questions that you have for us to do in another live, and we'll try to see if we can plan one.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy your Valentine's Day weekend. We're about to do something. Hopefully go to the pool. I don't know, it's a little gloomy today. The pool's inside, but we're gonna figure something out. But enjoy your Valentine's Day tomorrow. And if you see this later on this week, I hope you had a great Valentine's Day. And yeah, we'll see you in our next video.
See y'all in the next video.